talking about the Mobius strip, Xiefeng, translated by Qinyu, edited by Peter. A piece of paper has two sides. If an ant is placed on the front of the paper and is not allowed to turn over the edge of the paper or bite through the paper, how can it easily and unconsciously climb from the front of the paper to the back of the paper and reach any point on the paper? From the perspective of conventional thinking, this is absolutely impossible, but someone has solved this problem. He is the German mathematician August Ferdinand Mobius. Mr. Mobius' solution is: twist one end of the paper 180 degrees and stick it to the other. At this point, the ant can freely climb from the front to the back, and from the back to the front. This is the Mobius strip. The Mobius strip is the result of unconventional thinking. What seems impossible with conventional thinking is easy with unconventional thinking. So, what is unconventional thinking? Unconventional thinking is a paradox of conventional thinking, a reverse thinking that goes against the usual way of thinking. For example, the Empress Wu Zetian ordered flowers to bloom, which was described in Flowers in the Mirror. Conventionally speaking, only winter plums will blossom on cold days, and the rest of the flowers should be sparse on dead branches, and they should be withered. But Wu Zetian went beyond the norm and ordered, all flowers must blossom overnight. Don't wait for the morning wind to push you. As a result, except for peonies, all the flowers grew overnight. At dawn, the fragrant flowers were in glorious bloom, and the Chuanfang Garden and Shanglin Garden were verdant and pleasing, full of beautiful spring scenery. What is normal to one nation is contrary to common sense and unnatural to another nation. For example, the order in which British, Americans, and Chinese write addresses is a kind of unconventional thinking, such as British and American, 38, Cosbill Street, Columbia District, New York City, United States. China, United States, New York City, Columbia District, Cosbill Street, number 38. For another example, when people die, their loved ones will cry to express their sorrow and sadness, but some nations use laughter to express sorrow. At funerals, some ethnic groups consider it respectful to wear white clothes, while others consider it respectful to wear black clothes. The secular view holds that one is born to pursue enjoyment, while most religions, especially Buddhism, believe that one is born to suffer. Traditional science believes that space and time are absolute. Space is like a box, matter is a particle in this box, and time passes evenly. Modern science believes that space-time depends on the distribution of matter itself, and space-time is curved. Common sense believes that chicken feathers can fly in the sky, but iron blocks cannot fly in the sky, but today's reality shows that iron blocks, weighing tens of tons, can also fly in the sky. It was previously thought that any number could be represented by the ratio of two integers, but later it was discovered that some numbers, such as irrational numbers, could not be represented by the ratio of two integers. After the establishment of the theory of real numbers, the discovery of ethereal imaginary numbers was confusing. What is considered impossible in conventional thinking is easily solved by unconventional thinking. Topology is a kind of unconventional thinking. It can change the position of space and make the inside and outside of a confined space communicate, making it impossible to distinguish inside from outside. Just like the Mobius strip, it is impossible to tell which is the front side, which is the reverse side. How can a person enter a sealed room, and how can one then get out of it? With conventional thinking, it is absolutely impossible. But if you think unconventionally, this matter is easy. It is just a different understanding of space. Can people be invisible? Conventional thinking has to say, this is the dreaming of an idiot. It is absolutely impossible. In fact, it is just a temporary distortion of space and time. Mankind has launched many spacecrafts to explore space. There are many purposes for this. Regardless of whether they admit it or not, one of the subconscious purposes is to find out whether there are stars outside the Earth for humans to live on. One side effect of this space exploration is the realization that the Earth's immediate neighbors are not suitable for human habitation, and the farther planets are a few light years or tens of light years away, which humans cannot reach within their limited lifespans. Humanity has only one Earth. This is the pessimistic conclusion obtained by the current exploration of space.
Impossible. Impossible. Absolutely impossible.
This is the conclusion obtained by conventional thinking. Einstein realized that the speed of light is the limit speed of the movement of matter, but he did not realize that the speed of non-material movement is the negative cosmic speed, and people can instantly reach a planet tens of light years away. Quantum mechanics believes that only one speed and position of a particle can be obtained, and accurate data of both cannot be measured at the same time. This uncertain principle has actually entered conventional thinking. The movement of a particle is disturbed by an infinite number of forces, so it cannot have a constant speed. In addition, the movement path of a particle is affected by other forces, so it cannot have a fixed line, which is why its speed and location cannot be measured at the same time. However, if we have a way to consider all the forces received by the particles and the magnitude and mode of action, then it is not difficult to measure the speed and position of the particles at the same time. Everything in the universe runs in an orderly manner, and particles are no exception. The current problem is that human intelligence has not yet reached the level of understanding all the forces in the universe. Quantum mechanics has entered the frontier zone, but this does not mean that the frontier zone is the marginal area of science, and we can also develop this in depth. Quantum mechanics can only end in the uncertainty principle. The development of science is endless, but the more knowledge humans carry, the slower they will move forward. 100 years ago, if people were able to master all the knowledge mankind accumulated by the age of 20, it is not possible now. Who would dare to say that he has encompassed all the knowledge accumulated by mankind by the age of 30? I am afraid that some people might have become exhausted and powerless before they reached the forefront of science. By extending quantum mechanics to humans, we find that humans are just particles. The gains and losses, misfortunes and blessings, illnesses and lifespans of human beings in the world happen to be within the uncertainty principle. We cannot accurately measure the length of a person's lifespan and his merits, demerits, gains, and losses in one's lifetime. However, all thinking that thinks of impossibilities belongs to conventional thinking. When we know that the universe is orderly and that life has a trajectory, we can analyze the hundreds of millions of factors that affect a person from an inevitable perspective, and we will find several sets of laws that affect life. From these laws, we can accurately measure a person's prosperity, adversity, poverty, lifespan, and fate of his entire life. Newton discovered universal gravitation, which explained a mystery of the universe. While benefiting mankind, at the same time it put a shackle on thinking of mankind. According to universal gravitation, it is impossible for a person to fly freely in the sky without the help of other tools. This has become conventional thinking again. But what people didn't expect is that gravitation is not universal. Gravitation is generated by motion. If the motion is large, the gravitation is large. If the motion is small, the gravitation is small. Where there is no motion, there is no gravitation, and where there is no gravitation, there is no weight. Cannot weightless people fly freely in the sky? Conventional thinking is going to laugh at me again. The Earth is in eternal motion, and people are eternally weighty. When the Earth stops moving, it is the end of life on the Earth. When can people fly freely in the sky? Conventional thinking is really troublesome. It doesn't consider the relationship among thinking, energy, and matter. Fax and email must be true, right? The technology of cloning can't be said to be fabricated, right? Is the fax or email we receive the same as the original? And is the cloned animal similar to the original one? All material things are just a matter of molecular arrangement, order, and structure. If the genetic structure of a pig is arranged in the order of a human genetic structure, then the pig will speak a human language. Could this be false? Then, can't people be faxed? Can't people be cloned? Substances cannot be faxed, but their structure and sequence can be faxed. We can pick up a phone and dial the number of a relative who is thousands of miles away. Although the person is thousands of miles away, the sound you hear is right close to your ears. Is there any doubt about this voice? With negative cosmic speed, a person's life structure and sequence can be faxed to a planet millions of light years away, and then endowed with energy, cloning, a new you will then be born. Since the sequence and structure are the same, your consciousness and memory still exist, consciousness and memory exist in the structure and sequence, and you will still be you, not someone else. Good. Since the Earth can't restrain us, and space distance can't obstruct us, then, can motion restrain us? Let's not talk about absolute motion, but relative motion. On the ComC, while sitting in a ship's cabin, if we don't look out of the window, can we feel motion? There will be no feeling of motion at all. We are living on the Earth that travels 25 million kilometers a day. Can we feel the Earth moving at high speed? No, we cannot. When two objects of the same mass fly in the same direction and at the same speed, there is, relatively speaking, no motion between them. So there is no gravitational force between them, relatively speaking. In this case, for the small object sandwiched between these two objects, neither motion nor gravitational force is felt. In other words, it loses weight and can now fly freely. Is there such a place in the universe? Yes, there is. Please see the chapter of 36-dimensional spaces. Let's look at the Mobius strip again. When turning a paper with front and back sides into a strip without front and back sides, the key to it is to flip one end of it 180 degrees. This flipping process is the process of unconventional thinking. The flip must be 180 degrees. If it flipped less or more, it will not be the true. It would become a way that is perverse, a perverse theory, and it will bring endless disasters. The unconventional thinking of the Mobius strip is by no means a trick played by magicians. It is a key to understanding the truth.